Welcome to the Content Amplified podcast, brought to you by Masset. Our goal is to help you get more from your marketing content. Each episode is a 10 to 15 minute interview with industry experts that share amazing insights to help you squeeze as much juice from your content as you possibly can. Here's today's interview.
Welcome back to another episode of Content Amplified. Today we have Michelle Davidson. Michelle, thanks for being on the show.
Hi, thanks for having me. It's a privilege to be here. Usually I'm on the other end asking the questions, but today I'm the guest. So we flipped the switch here.
I know. As a marketer, it's kind of fun to be the guest and the source of truth instead of the host. So excited to have you sharing your knowledge. Really quickly to set the stage, do you mind sharing your background a little bit, who you are, some of your experience and your passions in marketing?
Sure. So I am currently a content marketing manager for a software company called Allego, and we make sales enablement software for sales teams. But my road here was a little up and down and around the bend. I started as an editor and reporter. I have a journalism degree. And then I moved in, I was community news and then into tech publishing. And my tech publishing background caught the eye over here at Allego. So my tech experience and my journalism experience helped me get my content marketing job here.
I love it. That's awesome. So today we have a really fun subject, and this is one of the more focused on something you can take and apply today to your marketing. If you want to get more out of your content today, I love this subject and I love these points. So what we're going to talk about today is how to take research papers and ebooks and turn them into infographics. Not only the process for how you should think about the content and lay it out and things of that nature, but also how you can get or what resources you can use to be able to create it, and then also what to do with the content after you've created it. So kind of the whole spectrum of what you can do to get these made, created, published, things like that. So Michelle, what are some of the points that you should think about when you have a great research paper or ebook? What should you be thinking about to turn that into an infographic?
Yeah. So one thing you want to think about is that this is going to be a way to take complex information that you would find in an ebook or a research report or a webinar and turn it into something that's visually engaging and easily digestible so that when people look at it, they can quickly glean what the main points are. So we just actually finished one for Allego. It's based on an ebook we wrote and published about modern revenue enablement. So that ebook has several stats about B2B buying behavior, revenue enablement challenges and solutions, and the infographic tells a story. So it takes those data points, makes it like spots here and there that you can quickly see what the main points are, and then and it tells a story throughout. So it starts at the beginning and then there's an ending. And so I can walk through the process that we followed.
Awesome.
So the first one I touched on was the data points. So whatever resource you're starting with, pull out your compelling stats, your critical data points, any information that you want to include in the infographic. And during that stage, I also start working on the copy. So a headline, introduction, bullet points, things you want to use to tell your story in the infographic. And then you think about how to visually portray those. So you're going to think about icons. You're going to think you want these things that are going to take those complex concepts and make the infographic more appealing. So you could take those data points and turn them into charts, into graphs, create icons to illustrate the process. And then when you have all, you want to create a hierarchy. So people's eyes go to headlines, they go to images, they go to bold text. So you want to think about how to use those and arrange them in a way that guides the viewer using your fonts, using colors, using your visuals. And then think about colors. You're probably going to want to use your brand colors, but you need to use them strategically. So you want contrasting colors like for your text and backgrounds to ensure that your text is easy to read. And then you want your colors to pop and also to convey an emotion. And I can give you an example of a switch we made because of the emotion the colors were giving. So we had a bulleted list of features, of positive features you want to include. And the color that they used on the bullet points was a red color. And red for a lot of people means stop or don't go there. So we changed the color to a green, which is more like, yes, you can go now. Yes, you can move forward. So that's just one example of how the color providing emotion. And then most of the story. So your infographic should have a logical flow that guides the viewer through the information. So you start with a compelling headline, your intro, and then a clear sequence of information. And we use arrows and lines, and you should do the same. So arrows that like help point you through, lines that connect, and other elements that connect your ideas and data points. One really important thing is that you want to make sure your infographic is clutter free. If you put too much in there, your viewers' eyes won't know where to go. They'll be like bouncing all over trying to find it. So keep it clear, keep the text concise, and use your visual elements to replace any long text that you're thinking about. And then comes what I think is maybe the longest part, which is proofing and reiterating and doing everything to the corrections and getting it to the final spot. So you want to proof it, rewrite copy, revise as needed. And most important, and we almost made this mistake, was make sure your stats and data are accurate, because if you're sending out bad data, it's not good for your brand. But anyway, we caught a mistake in the final proof, and we had to stop production while we fixed that data point, and now it's good. Now it's all out there. Um, and then one thing I wanted to just point out is I'm not creating these myself. While I have some design experience from my editing days, I'm not a graphic artist. I'm not an artist. So we use graphic designers. We have an in-house designer who helps guide, and then we use a service this time for creating the infographic we just finished. Um, So I think that's it. That's how we create this infographic.
So when you're looking at creating an infographic, what's the approximate cost that you would estimate if you went into this to say, okay, hey, we're going to outsource some of this. We're going to do all the points that you talk through and provide them this information. How much would you expect something like this to cost as far as like a range goes?
Yeah, it could range from a few $100s to a couple thousand. So with Lemon they've got three different types. If you can have a motion graphic, you can have where just like a few things pop here and there, or you can do static. We went with static. Um, we That's just what we decided to do this time. It was our
Yeah.
first time using them, and the experience was great. But yeah, it can range from a few hundred to a couple thousand, depending on what you want your graphic to do.
Love it. That's super helpful. Okay, so you went through all this effort. You've got the hierarchy, you've got the visuals, the data points, the colors, the story. You've proofed it, reproofed it. The authenticity and the accuracy is there because the data is correct. You got it made. Any tips on how to get more out of that? Like what should you do once you've created the infographic? Any ideas or tips on that after it's created?
Yeah, in fact, I learned something this time around about how to actually put it on your web page so that the Google spiders find it. And that's through an SVG file, which we needed help on our back end to get that uploaded. Because a JPEG, they can't read a JPEG, and you'll have to put extra meta description and more copy behind it for the spiders to find it. So if you can do that, if you can upload your infographic as an SVG file, that's a huge help in your SEO strategy there.
I love it.
Um, so then other things you can do is write a blog post about it. This is going to be used for sales collateral, so we're making sure our sales team knows about it. It's a good data point for our customers if they're not using all the features of our tools. So we're going to send it to our customers to make sure they know about it. And then social media. So we got through Lemonly, they created some assets for us that we can use on social. And you had a guest on recently. Let me see, what was her name? Her name is Madison Bullock.
Yep.
She was talking about the best where you should not spend your time, I guess. But what she said, and I agree with, is LinkedIn. If you're a B2B company, then LinkedIn is your best spot. So we'll be putting on social coming up soon.
Very cool.
using the small assets that they made for us.
I love it. Awesome. Well, this is super helpful, super actionable. This definitely gives me a lot of insights in how I can do better with infographics. We would love for people to be able to connect with you and also potentially see this infographic. We'll make sure we link to it in the show notes and online, but how can anyone continue the conversation with you if they want to connect?
Yeah, great. They can find me on LinkedIn.
We'll make sure we link to it, but if you search
Yes,
Michelle
yes.
Davidson, I'm guessing you can find it pretty
Yeah.
quick.
Yeah, so I work for Allego, and the infographic, we'll have a link to it too. But if you want to go to Allego and go to our resource center, it's right there. It's the brand new thing right there.
Love it. Perfect. Well, thank you so much. We really appreciate your time. This was super actionable and helpful. Have a great day, and appreciate your time.
Awesome.
Thank you for listening to the Content Amplified podcast. Please subscribe and leave us a review. And for additional ways to get more out of your content, visit our website at getmasset.com. That's getmasset.com. And tune in next time to the Content Amplified podcast.